Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. So yesterday, I'm going to remove this, by the way, for loop. We just tried this and we tried cells of 2 comma 2 is equal to hello world. So see, there are a lot of things which you can do in VBA. Whatever you can do in Excel, you can do it in the background. Now let's say I want to, here in this case, I have added data in just the cells. So for example, if I've added another sheet over here, and now if I run this macro, this data will come in this second sheet. If I add a third sheet and I run this macro, this data will come in the third sheet. Because I haven't given any reference related to this particular sheet over here. So if I run it again over in sheet 1, I have not given any specific references, which is why it is by default wherever your cursor is, in whichever sheet your cursor is, in the sense you have selected sheet 2, it is going to run the macro on sheet 2. I can run the macro on another open worksheet as well, workbook rather. If I have opened a new book, when I do this, I see this macro, I can still run it from here. Okay, because the other macro sheet is open. So it has to be open for me to run this. But now I want to specify that instead of sheet 1 or sheet 2, I want to write something else. So if I say, so how do I select a sheet? I have to write sheets in bracket the sheet name dot select. Okay. I write like this, sheet 1. In sheet 2 I write in sheet 3 I write something else. Now if I run this, it's going to traverse through all the 3 sheets. You see, it wrote data hello world over here, hello world over here, and same thing in the third sheet. So the sheets.select helps me navigate through different sheets. Can you try this? I can do everything as a normal program. I can write a file, I can read a text file, write a text file, I can write a Word file if I want to. I can connect to a database if I want to. All that can be done using VBA because it's a core programming language itself. It's called Visual Basic for applications. You can even write it in PowerPoint, by the way. If you open PowerPoint and if you write a macro, now if I run test over here, it gives me a power message box over here. Okay. Obviously, you'll have to add the 3 sheets. If the 3 sheets are not there in this Excel file, it's going to give you an error. Okay, let's say if I don't have this sheet 3, and now if I run it, I'm going to get an error. A subscript out of range. Here it is not found sheet 3. So you need to add the 3 sheets beforehand in this case. Just give me a minute, I'll be back. Everybody got this?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Now let's say you're not sure of what you want to do. In the sense you want to, what I want to do, let me run this by the way. I have this data like this. I want to copy this info, this entire row into this particular sheet over here. I do not know how to do that. Do you see a developer tab over here at the top? Developer ribbon, do you see in your Excel file?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's go to file. Let's go to options. And let's go to customize. In customize ribbon, there should be an option called developer over here on the right hand side. Can you check that?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Very good. Once you do that, you should see that option over here. So here Excel VBA gives you the option to record macros. This is not there in any other Microsoft tool, in the sense you don't have that option to record macros. If I'm at the last I saw, there was no macro recording in PowerPoint. But let's check that again. There is an option over here. So here you don't see any option for recording macros. Okay, you see all these options for adding buttons and stuff, but here in developer I have the option for recording macros. So let's say I don't know what to write, I'm very new to it, so I click on that record macro, and whatever I am going to do over here, let's say I move my cursor over here, it is going to select this particular region. It's selecting row number I3, third row I column, and I type over here, this is a recording. Whatever I'm doing, going up, left, right, all this is getting recorded. Let's say I copy this, I select these two rows, I go to sheet 2 and I paste it over here. Then again I copy this entire row, I go to sheet, I paste it over here, and I stop recording. When I stop recording, I see a macro 1 created. I see another macro created. So it has mimicked whatever I did. Okay, first of all I selected a range. By the way, can you just try it once? Just try recording something. Give you a good idea. You tried?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you see a macro getting created like this?
Yeah, yeah.
Here, if you see, there is a little difference. One is I'm selecting a particular range. Okay, so I've given I3. This is because I selected I3 when the first time I wrote. This is a recording I3. So I can actually copy this code and I'll go back to this module. Okay, I can select this range I3 and I can again write anything I want to over here. Cells. Here it is written in active cells. The same thing, active cells dot formula R1C1. I can write something over here. Okay, I can use this information, this logic which is written over here, to create a new code for myself if I want to. There are some things obviously which, so when I look at this, again this is selecting a range. This is selecting, what this is doing, when I wrote this, right, I did control and left arrow. Control and left arrow. I have my cursor on I3. I do control and left arrow. What it does is it moves my selection to the leftmost cell. Okay. So that is what it's doing over here. Selection and Excel to left. That is what is done. In D3, when I select D3, D3, and again if I go left, it does this. That is what it's doing over here. Okay, till the last filled cell on the left. That is what this line does, by the way. Then we saw we copied certain data. So I selected this rows 2 to 3. When I do this row 2 to 3, that is what I've done. I've selected this. So I can use this entire thing in my code over here. So again, if I do rows, let me copy that by the way. I can change this to 2 to 10 also if I want to. Okay, if I run this now, let's see in the sheet. Otherwise, it will be in sheet 3 only. So here I see the entire selection is row 2 to 10. I have copied rows 2 to 10. Not other copied, I have just selected the rows 2 to 10 over here. After this, I have this code is there, selection.copy. When I do this selection.copy, what it does, it is copying these 3 rows. So now if I select, right, you'll see these dotted lines coming in. When I ran this code, you see it has selected it and it has copied the records as well, the rows. That is what selection.copy does. If I want to paste it, I can actually go, I can paste it in the same sheet or I can go to the another sheet. Here I have gone to another sheet, selected a specific range, and then we have pasted that value. If I now use this, I go to sheet 2, I make this 15, and if I paste it, right, so let me run this. Notice this is copied from A15. It is telling me the starting row and it has copied the data to A15. Gives you an idea. Whatever you do manually, there might be certain processes you are doing manually and stuff that can be automated using VBA. Does it give you an idea?
Yes, sir. Got it.
You want to try this 3 lines, you can try it. Then we look at some loops and stuff. Try those few lines.
Yes, sir, got it.
All right. So like in any programming language, okay. Uh, by the way, you can use this active cell dot row to get the row number, active cell dot column to column number. This is incorrect. Okay, if I change this to code is correct, the variable name is incorrect. You don't need to really uh, declare a variable. Okay, let's say I write, let me write another code, some, let's say a is equal to 10, message box a. I don't need to declare a variable, by the way. It takes it as a variable automatically. But if you need to declare a variable, you can do so. If you write a macro using auto open, every time you open Excel, it is going to run the macro. Okay, so let's say if I write a macro over here called auto open, I make this variable to auto open. I close this Excel and let's say I open this Excel again. See, it ran this macro because the name is auto open. Whenever that macro is written over here, it is going to automatically run that code whenever you open the macro for the first time. So let's say you want to check something, you want to clean certain data, whenever you open an Excel sheet, you can do that. Are you able to try this auto open?
Yes, sir.
Alright. There are quite a few data types over here. You can declare a variable as boolean. You can declare a variable as byte, date. Okay. And the easiest way is to just write it like this. That was there. It. You say dim et as date. So you see you will get all the options over here. And primarily if it is a predefined keyword, you will notice this colored as blue. If you don't know any specific, you want to search for a function or anything, right? If you press F2 in this screen, in this code screen, F2, you will get to this search box, this search area. So let's say I've searched for L case. Okay. What it does, it converts the string into lowercase. If you want to see what variables it takes, what fields it takes, this is what it does. L case. Then you have INSTR. There are quite a lot of functions over here. If you're searching for specific, these are all string functions. Trim, weekday name, join, character, all these are all string functions. So there are quite a few variables. I'll send across this presentation as well. Now let's look at an if then else. So I have declared a variable a as 10. Let's say I take a value a from the sheet. I'll take the value from this sheet. So I'll select sheet 1 and a is equal to of 1 comma 1. I will remove this message box. Earlier we were putting data in the cell. Here we are reading data from the sheet. So I have taken sheet 1 and I have taken a value like this. So let's say I say rand between. Let's say I put some random number 70, 88. Okay, I have taken a random number over here. So my value of A, and if I do a message box over here, I am seeing the value in that cell is 88. I want to check if the value of A is more than 50, only then should I print, or I'll print a specific message. So if I say if A greater than 50, then message box, you want to put a specific message box, A is greater than 50. Else message box A is less than 50 and end if. If I run this, I see A is greater than 50. This is a very simple if else statement. Can you try this?
So the sheets that you have specified, we wouldn't have to put that command if we have only one sheet, right?
Yeah, if you have only one sheet, you don't need to do that. But it's a good habit to put the sheet name. Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. You can write a for loop. Okay, let's say I want to write hello world from 1 to 100. Obviously, I can drag it to the bottom and write it. But if I want to write it, okay, to a code, I'll do this over here. Or, so like I said, right, you don't need to declare a variable. I is equal to 1 to 10 and next I. This is the loop. This is the starting of the loop, for loop. This is the ending of the for loop. Whatever I write between them is going to get executed. So I write cells of I comma 3. This is the what I'm doing is I is this row number, and 3 is this column number. Okay, 3 is this column number, I is this row number, rather this. So like this, I am filling these cells. Okay, so now if I run it, it will put the value of I itself. So I'm going to fill the value. Let's say I fill it till 1000 for that matter. If I run it, so here it's going to put the values of 1 to 1000. Okay, and if I run this from 1 to 1000, it has written all these values. This is very basic in terms of how to write a for loop. So I'm going a little fast because I'm assuming you know basics of programming. You know what is a for loop, what is a if statement. If not, let me know, I'll explain it. Are you able to run this for loop?
Yes, sir.
All right. I can break this loop if I want to. Okay, so let's say I write a if statement over here. If I is equal to I equal to 50, then exit for. In this case, what is going to happen is it is going to stop writing the value. So let's say I remove this, I delete these values 1 to 1000, whatever was written over here. And if I run that loop again, okay, if I run this again, it is going to stop at 50. It's going to print the value of 50. It's going to enter the value of 50 in that cell, but beyond that, it's not going to execute it. So if I, let's say if I run this now, it did not go beyond 50 because I have written a code to exit if the value is equal to 50. So I'm exiting from that loop using exit for.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Alrighty. You say there are quite a lot of functions over here. Okay. So we have this value of hello world over here, right? Where is this? Okay, let's say we have this value of hello world in cells 2, 2. I want to print a specific value of that. Okay, I'm going to mark this off by the way. I'm going to cut this and put it over here just for reference. If I run it step by step, right, I have to use F8, F8. When I do that, I can even see the variable value. Okay, when I press F8, F8, I'm going stepwise. And here I see the variable value now. Once you run that step, I can see what is the value of the variable. Okay, I have taken this value and let's say I do message box L case string 1. What this is going to do, it is going to show this entire statement as lowercase. Function lower, right? If you remember, we had two lower or lower. Now we had this lower function, and then let's say what is the other function? I think where did it go? I say message box U case है क्या क्या है U case upper case is U case. If I run these two, the second one comes as completely uppercase. And if I want to do message box, I use the function mid. What mid does, it is substring, it's like substring. Okay, I want to string 1, start as 1 and 5 characters, first 5 characters. Hello, hello and hello. These are all string functions. You want to try it? Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Right. So in the same way, right, there are quite a lot of functions over here. Instead of lot of if statement, there is a case statement which is there, which can be written. I think we saw one case statement in Tableau, if I'm not mistaken. In that same way, you have that case statement in Excel or VBA rather. Okay. Quite a lot of functions like this. Is empty, is null, is numeric, lowercase, uppercase, left, right. All that is there. Whatever you can do within Excel, you can do in uh, VBA. We saw this forms as well. Okay, you want to try a form. By the way, you can try a form. Go to this insert and click on user form. Just add a button, add a label like this, add a text box, that is input box like this. And let's add a button over here. Press OK. And we press cancel.
So can't this be shown in the Excel file?
Yeah, you can. I'll show you how can we can show that. But have you created this user form, by the way? I'll show you how to show the on the Excel file, by the way. You're saying you want to create a form in Excel. Is that what you're saying? You want to create a form over here?
Yes, sir.
You can do that also. So here, over here, where is it? You can add buttons and stuff over here, but a form itself, I'm not sure if you can. Yes, over here. So I put a frame over here, and in this frame I can put a button. So it asked to link the button over here. I can create a form like this. Is this what you're asking for?
Could you show it again? How you got the frame?
One second. Let me remove this. Go to insert. I don't see those options of a frame over here. So I click on this more controls, and I will see over here an option of a frame. I click on that frame and I can draw it. So I see a frame. I can name this actually. I can format the control or the properties. I can name the frame. Okay, caption is this frame one. Let's say I make it enter data, data entry. Here in this, now I can add a whatever else I want to add. You can add a button. You see a text box over here. So add a text box over here. I add a label. Properties. Caption should be name. Okay. And I add a button over here. Like this, you can add it in the Excel itself. But the better way to do this, right? I can put an entire form over here, but the actual and better way to do it is through code. Okay, if I have this, where is this properties? Okay, what I will go is I will go to my module, that is my code. I am writing a new code. I have this user form, right? You have this user form, which is this data entry. I can rename this also. And I'll say data entry dot show. Okay. When I run it, it shows me the dialog box like this. Nothing is going to happen because I have not written anything on click. So the easiest way to do this is just write the user form dot show. Data entry dot show, user form dot show. That is what it does. Now I need to code for this also. What happens when I say OK? I have this text box one. So here I can check if text box one dot text equal to nothing, then message box, please enter your name. You might be thinking how I came to this. Okay, what you need to do is you need to double click this OK button. When you do that, it creates a private kind of a function, yeah, private routine rather. Else we'll say, to this I will say user form data entry dot, where did I write this by the way? 1 second. Yeah, I was writing it in the wrong one by the way. Sorry for that. One is to show, the other is to hide. Now if I run my module over here, this data entry dot show. If I press OK, please enter your name. It's not going to do anything unless I press this cross over here. When I press OK, now the dialog goes away. I can actually capture this information. I'll capture that information because I will have that information in this box over here. So I can even put it over here. I can say this box data entry. When I say dot, I will see that text box one dot value. So here I am seeing that value, my name. It has captured this name from this box. Get an idea of this is a very basic structure of what all you can do in VBA. By the way, you can create an entire application itself, but the only limitation is size and the processing time, because it is not your Java or .NET or anything else for that matter. Got an idea?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you mark your attendance? So that kind of covers what I wanted to explain. Obviously, if you go into VBA, an entire 24 hours we can spend on that. but this is something I just wanted to give you an idea. You can read a file, you can connect to a database like I mentioned. Okay, you can connect to uh, databases, Excel files, anything that you want. So there is one more thing, if you remember. So there's one more thing. I'm going to send a crossword which you can try. Okay, I'll send it across today or tomorrow. You can try that and reply back to me on that. So that will cover what all we have done, and let me know if you are good with presenting on next week, Monday, Tuesday, or you need some more time. So are you okay presenting on any of these days, or do you need one more week to showcase the output of Tableau?
So next week is fine.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. I'll send across the crossword, and that will decide the. I am okay after 5th, but let me know what is the overall ask. Can you guys discuss among yourselves and let me know by today? Okay, so I'll send across the crossword that will decide who is the winner of. We had done this analysis, right? Or rather, we had done a crossword earlier, but this will uh, decide who kind of wins the overall points. Okay, and I'll give something to the person, the winning group, by the way. All right, so let me know by end of today. You can message on the chat on the WhatsApp group. Thank you so much.